What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. It is the 9th day of November today, and here we are at about $0.00668 right now. We've got 10 hours and 4 minutes left in this day. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Okay, here we are. Still in this range here. Looking like we actually do want to break out to the upside. I'm not going to lie. I was considerate of the downside. I was kind of considering that we could actually see a lower low, but today I'm more, looking at this 4 hour time frame. It looks to me like, I don't know, even though it's a pennant pattern, we've got this kind of like flat top right here. It's almost like a pennant with like an implied bullish angle, I would say. I don't know if that's even a thing. Maybe I shouldn't be looking at it like that, right? We're rejecting these areas more. We're kind of grinding out the bottom areas. Might we break out to the downside? Maybe I'm just seeing what I want to see. I don't know. Something about this makes me think that we're going to break out to the upside. I want to be clear though. Okay, if OnyxCoin does move down to $0.06 or $0.057 or lower, if we do take out this low, there's still the setup for bullish divergence on the 4 hour time frame, bullish divergence on our weekly MACD, on our daily MACD, on the RSI as well. There's still all these bullish setups that we could go through, right? Typically on the daily time frame, if you get a downtrend, lower highs and lower lows like this, you typically end it in the oversold zone, but it's very common to get bullish divergence in here too. So we could see a higher low scenario with a lower low scenario in the price. So if all that to say, if we're lower, don't worry. Okay, don't panic. Don't go panicking. It's okay. We will have very bullish setups as a result of moving lower, and likely we would recover in a very short amount of time. So even if it pains you to think that the price could go down here, imagine you wake up and you see it at 0.052, you're going to feel like, when are you going to stop toying with me, OnyxCoin? It might stop toying with you right there, because then we're going to have bullish divergence on some significant time frames and likely see a rapid recovery, right? In other words, if you're waiting for the move here, what's the real difference between this? You know what I mean? It's just time. That's all it is. Time and a little bit of heartbreak. That's about it. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, zooming in here, the 1 hour RSI to me looks productive. Looks very productive, and you can see it, right? You've got the higher lows here, getting overbought now, not getting oversold, bouncing off the 40, contesting this area a little bit, but you look like you went from like bearish to neutral to now you're shifting bullish, and we're just getting into that shifting bullish kind of phase. You could find resistance right here. Sure, you're up a little bit. You're at the resistance points in this range too, but I think you want to move higher. Stochastics make me think you want to move higher, and the MACD, you're even finding support at the 0 line and looking like you want to cross back up here. You had some bullish divergence, barely right there. It's not that significant, but every single indicator here makes me think that we do want to go higher. Looking at this on a 4 hour time frame, the RSI here is also productive. We've got higher lows here and higher highs as well. Just very well kept kind of range. I mean, at this pace, we might be in the overbought zone as early as Tuesday, if not maybe Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere in that time frame. In which case, we could expect OnyxCoin to see a nice move up. If it does take us until Tuesday, Wednesday, we might, at this pace, if we keep growing in the RSI, we should be breaking out of this soon. Like, it could be by the end of today, it could be sometime tomorrow. But if we get overbought, and at this current trajectory, we'd get overbought at like Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday. If we break out today or tomorrow, if we break this kind of descending trend line here, we're not going to really see the full strength of this move come in, I think, until the next day, Tuesday or Wednesday is what I'm trying to say. Right, we might break out, consolidate a little bit, and then really get the full strength of this move once we get into the overbought zone, which again, based off of the current trajectory, it would make sense that we're in the overbought zone only as early as Tuesday and as late as Thursday. Probably not before, probably not after. And in which case we could expect next week to provide some growth, hopefully, right? Hopefully we finally get some growth, some recovery, something that's meaningful and will last a while. I'd like to see us move all the way up to about 1 cent. We don't have to break through 1 cent, but I'd like to see us move all the way up around there. 0.0095, right around here where we found resistance before. It's okay if we find resistance there now. When we break out and go up to this area, we can break and consolidate there and then continue to move up. That's fine. But I don't want to see us find resistance here. I don't want to see us find resistance at 0.085. I'd rather see us find resistance at 0.095 or higher. Higher is welcome. Higher, and if anything, OnyxCoin it has a real way of proving me wrong, not just to the downside, but to the upside as well, right? Even in bullish times, we can get this thing wrong because we're not bullish enough. Whenever it moves, it can move at a very voluptuous pace. So um, excited to see the results of this move. Even if we break out to the downside, the bullish divergence alone on the daily time frame should save us. And if we break out, well, that's cool too. We don't need bullish divergence. We don't need your stinking bullish divergence. We're going to move up anyways. The MACD is very suggestive that we'll move up to the upside as well. Stochastics are as well. I mean, all of these indicators look like you want to move up. Absolutely. Daily time frame here, and I like how well formed this consolidation phase is here. I can't help it. You guys remember the days of the triangle? You remember the triangles? We had so many good triangles to us back in the day. Here, let's zoom out here. Right, this is back in like the very beginning days, talking about OnyxCoin on the 4-hour time frame here. Look at this triangle. Wasn't that a nice triangle to us? Doesn't it look similar to kind of like what we're dealing with now on the 4-hour time frame? Just this is a little bit larger, right? We had a nice little triangle here too. Let's see, where else? Were there any triangles down here? There was a little triangle right here. And see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. If we broke out to the downside, you still formed bullish divergence, and then you ripped to the upside. Imagine thinking that, oh no, this is terrible, and then you sold. Boom, we ripped to the upside. That triangle, even though we broke out to the downside, was still kind to us. All I'm trying to say here is, regardless of what direction we go, I don't think we can lose here. Unless unless we go below like 0.005, then we are losing. Unless we go so low that we get rid of our bullish divergence on the daily time frames. But right now, the RSI is coming out of the oversold zone. That's a nice look in itself. The stochastics look like they want to come up, right? Very nice there, positive look. And the MACD is in the dumps, to be fair. There's not really anything to go off of with the MACD, so we'll just leave that as it is. Weekly time frame here, expecting a recovery. 9 hours, 57 minutes left in this week. I've expressed my desire to see this weekly histogram on OnyxCoin close below this one here, okay? Or above, maybe I should say, not below. Not here. You want to close above this line, right? You want a higher low. Okay, that's what we want. It can close lower than this one. You can close on the in-between of this level here and that level there. That's fine, but we don't want to close below here. So a little bit of recovery by the end of the day would be nice. A little break of that zone, if we could come back up to like 007 or higher, that might do it. It's not a requirement, and understand that if we do close here on the MACD, why is it not pulling up? If we do close here on the MACD, there is still like this look of bullish divergence overall, but I just think it would look better if we could come up enough over the next 10 hours or so to where we are, that this histogram is above this line a little bit. And to do that, we'd need to close this week. I think we'd probably need to close it at like 0.075. Maybe 0.007 would do it, but we'll see. Just some thoughts there. And again, with that kind of a movement, we would likely be breaking out. Yeah, we'd be breaking out of this zone overall. So I really do think, and with the indicators looking the way they do, I really do think it's possible that we could see something at 0.073, 0.075 by the end of today, by the end of this week. But time will tell. Looking at the weekly time frame here, weekly RSI is right at the oversold zone, perfect area to bounce. Stochastics have bullish divergence, looking like they're frisky. They want to come up. We're just waiting for a bullish week. Whenever it is time to move higher. And again, I do think that this is the low. I really do think that this could be the low, guys. There's so many reasons to expect this to be the low. It doesn't have to be the low, but let's just look at this too. Hold on. Where is... Let's look at this real quick. Hold on. XCN. Let's see. Let it load. 241. Okay, for some reason I thought that we might have seen a lower market cap. No. 240. Okay, never mind. That's not what I was going for. I thought that we were finding support at like $240 million in market cap level. Let me pull this up and just see what it says. 240. We went down to 2. No. Nope, not what I was looking for. That's okay. That is fine. No, we did. Okay, yeah, we did. We found direct support at 200 million. So we found support at 200 million on the market cap level, which is a psychological level of support, right? Making sense out of why we don't need to interact with this zone. Because I think a lot of people are Maybe rightfully so, they're thinking that we go down to this area, or maybe they're mistaken and expecting that we'll interact with these lines. We don't have to. There's other means of finding support besides just finding support at prior resistance points here. Though that would look nice, that would imply that we go lower. That would look nice still if we did find support here. I think that we could find support right here, and that's fine because, again, that's at $200 million in market cap valuation. Perfect area to find support. And let's actually put a line there and just see if we go to like 200 million. Let's just zoom out and see. I mean, that's at the base of this range over here too, right? We've just diluted the market a little bit with more supply. It's right at the base of this range here. It's a little bit below there, to be fair, but it's right at the base of that range nonetheless. And then you've got the XCN BTC chart, which again is very suggestive that we found a low. Here, we've interacted with our prior points of resistance. Here, we found support directly at the golden ratio. Literally, couldn't be more perfect. And at a minimum, you'd expect a reaction up to the 0.5 or higher. And with that, I mean, what kind of percentage growth is that versus Bitcoin in itself? That's a 40% pop versus Bitcoin. I can't imagine what that implies then for the US dollar pair, because if you're moving up versus Bitcoin, Bitcoin's likely moving up as well. So a 40% move up versus Bitcoin, to me, would imply that there's a move that's larger than 40% coming our way soon enough. And again, that's not taken. I don't think that we're just going to get a 40% move up versus Bitcoin. I'm just saying that at a minimum from here, even if we were assuming to move lower, the minimum expectation would be that you find resistance at the 0.5. But we very well could just rip from here up to the 382, find some consolidation here, continue to move up. We could just rip all the way up to the 236. Who knows how this is? You know, we could have a V-shaped recovery that takes us all the way back up here. But I'm just saying the minimum would be a 40% move versus Bitcoin, which likely implies there's a greater than 40% move versus the US dollar for OnyxCoin coming in soon. Which, if we're looking at this, you know, from a 50% perspective, that does take us right here to this prior support zone. And, you know, 80% growth, that's right there at that prior support zone. If we go to this resistance zone here, that's 174%. I mean, I think something between about 1.3 cents to 1 cent itself is the intended next target area. We'll see. But I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. We're very much considering that OnyxCoin will see new cycle highs, not new all-time highs, but new cycle highs by the end of this month. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we were at 8 cents or higher, but before we start calling for that, let's just wait and see. It's completely fine if we're only at 2.5 cents or 2 cents by the end of the month. It's completely fine if we're at 5 cents, but OnyxCoin has been beat up. It's been held back for a while. I really wouldn't be surprised if this thing came alive. If this thing took off and it was one of those coins that people are like, what the hell? What's OnyxCoin? Why is it pumping so much? When people figure out what this thing is, that's all it takes. It's really all it takes, man. It's fundamentally here is more valuable. It's a better project now than it was really throughout any of this time. Like, really. You know, it's basically like the same thing here that it's been for a while. But we've got Goliath testnet going. The mainnet's going to come online. A lot of bullish narratives up and coming. They're building new things all the time. I don't know. I think the ecosystem's pretty cool. But I've got nothing else, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. I'll see you on the next one, all right? Bye-bye.